You're listening to your favorite song, watching a scary movie, or just stepping outside in the winter. All of a sudden, goosebumps pop up on your arms. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? Tiny muscles called erector pili are contracting in your skin. They pull on your hair follicles, creating those little bumps. But why are these muscles contracting? Well, that all depends on what you're experiencing at the moment. If you're feeling cold, then your body is responding to that temperature by trying to keep you warm. If you're watching a scary movie, your body is responding to the threat you see on screen by preparing to fight or run away. In other words, goosebumps are a physiological response to stimuli that make us feel a certain way, whether that be music, a beautiful sunset, a scary movie, or an exciting roller coaster ride. And these reactions don't only happen in humans. Animals experience goosebumps too, which is why you might see them pop up on your dog or cat when they hear a scary noise, or get overly excited. But the goosebumps you're feeling aren't necessarily connected to your emotions, the way they are in animals. In fact, goosebumps don't actually serve much of a purpose in humans. So why do we still get them? Well, it all has to do with evolution. Let's start with our animal ancestors. When they first evolved, they had neither fur nor feathers. Instead, their bodies were covered in tiny, soft body hairs. And while we don't know exactly why these hairs appeared, researchers have some theories. Since animals can't control their body temperature like humans do, they need to stay warm. Body hairs help them do that by trapping a layer of air close to their body. Having more body hairs also helps with camouflage, since they can blend in with their surroundings. But there was a problem. These early animals needed a way to regulate their body temperature and also change where the hairs stood up for protection or to attract a mate. Enter the erector pili muscles. These are tiny muscles attached to each hair follicle that can contract to pull the hair upright. This system worked pretty well. That is until mammals evolved. As mammals began to grow larger, their body hairs became larger too. This made the erector pili muscles work harder, and the animals would have felt more tired and vulnerable while waiting for their muscles to recover. As a result, some animals like humans ended up with fewer, larger body hairs. The erector pili muscles still worked to raise those hairs, but now they also triggered goosebumps. This helped our ancestors stay warm, but it wasn't necessary for attracting mates anymore, since humans had developed other, more advanced ways of doing that. Over time, these goosebump-inducing muscles became vestigial. Basically, they still exist, but they don't really serve much of a purpose anymore. That's why humans don't have many uses for goosebumps. We can't regulate our body temperature that way, and we don't really need to raise our body hairs to attract a mate. So if goosebumps aren't useful, why do we still get them? Well, they're a byproduct of our ancestors' adaptations that used to be useful. Even though they don't serve a purpose, they're still triggered by things that make us feel strongly. And unlike animals, we don't really need them to survive. So the next time you get goosebumps, ask yourself, am I cold? Afraid? Excited? No. Then it's safe to say that your goosebumps are being triggered by your emotions. Goosebumps in response to music have been studied for decades. Researchers peg this as a survival mechanism from our primitive ancestors. Our ancestors would have used music to communicate important, social information. Music could indicate danger or suggest that it was time to come together as a group, both of which would have helped our ancestors survive. These days, music can still trigger goosebumps in a matter of seconds. A 2019 study found that listening to music that has personal meaning can activate networks in your brain that are connected to reward and emotion. The anticipation of a musical climax may also play a role. Your brain anticipates a release, like a resolution to a musical phrase or a sudden increase in volume, and gets goosebumps ready. But you don't have to listen to music to get them. A 2023 study found that goosebumps can appear in response to other emotionally charged stimuli, like when you feel awe, nostalgia, or fear. So, the next time you get goosebumps, take a moment to think about why. What makes it seem like our emotions are making these little muscles move again? Even though they don't really serve a purpose, well, that's for researchers to figure out. But in the meantime, enjoy the little shiver down your spine. It's a sign that you're experiencing something that matters to you. Thanks for watching this episode. And thanks especially to our supporters who make it possible for us to bring these videos to everyone for free.